Hello, everybody. I think people can already see us.
Hello.
Yes, and they can hear us too. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll give everyone just like a couple of minutes to make sure like everyone has enough time to join, and then and then we'll get started. Oh, so many people in the chat. Hello.
Yeah, I'm also seeing the chat now. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Lily is there as well. Thanks for the cake. Was delicious.
Was there a cake in the office today?
There was.
Oh. Why is there always cake in the office when I'm not in the office? Okay, it's for twice. We can slowly get started, yeah. And then if anyone joins in, it's okay. So everyone, let me go to the slides. Welcome. For those who don't know me, I'm Gonzalo. I'm the head of marketing at Codecks, and this is our first webinar. Very exciting. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We wanted to do this not just to kind of give a bit of a sneak peek into the Codecks roadmap, like it says here on the first slide, but also just to engage a bit with everyone who uses Codecks, everyone from the Discord channel, everyone from the community, or everyone who might potentially just not even know about Codecks but is curious about it. So it's nice to see like a really nice group of people joined and registered, and and thank you for being here. And yes, very exciting. So let's get started, and I'm going to pass the microphone for our two speakers today, Riyad and Daniel. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited for you to be here. Like Gonzalo said, it's our first webinar, hopefully one of many to come. We will be switching up the webinar topics over time and tackle different like beginner level, advanced level, and so on. But we thought having an outlook for 25 would be a nice start, and that should be interesting like for everybody. So for the people that don't know me, I'm Riyad. I'm co-founder of Codecks, and I'm the managing director, and I'm responsible kind of for the product vision and design topics and so on. And I get to talk with a lot of you about your needs and how we can improve Codecks.
Yeah, and I'm Daniel. I am the developer behind Codecks. Started with first prototypes in 2015. So it almost sounds like an anniversary if I think about it. But let's not think about that right now. So it's still technically the first quarter of the year. So I feel this is still a good time to share our vision for the rest of the year. Hello to everyone. It's good to see some names. Also good to see some names I haven't seen before. So excited to see how you like it in the end.
I'm sure everybody will love it. So let's go over the agenda. We're doing the introduction, and then we will be I will be saying a couple of words initially. So I know you're all excited to see work in progress stuff and like actual in development stuff. We'll show you that. But before that, since we're looking at a lot of different areas, I want to give you like a more broader picture of kind of where our focus is, where our attention is for 25. Then we'll go through specific features that are coming up very soon, like within a couple of days or within the next months. And then we'll end up with a Q&A where you can also ask questions that are interesting for you. All right, but let's start with kind of our vision for 25. And I won't make this too long, but I wanted to give a couple of introductory words about three main areas that are on our mind and that we think that we want to improve in Codecks next. So the first one is more power for producers. I think this should be popular idea. You can go to the next slide, Gonzalo, or I can also go.
You do go ahead and do it here, yeah.
So what we mean by that is a something that we've seen also in my game team, for example. So to give you a bit more background about myself, I used to work in the AAA industry. I've been in the industry for since 20 years now. Yeah, it's crazy. And 10 years ago, I started a indie games company called Machine Mensch. Yesterday, we released our new game, Mother Machine. Check it out on Steam. And what we've learned is that when we started using Codecks, we were just 2 people in the team. Now the games company is over 20 people, 25 or more with collaborators and so on. And of course, we've noticed that some of the things that worked very well in Codecks have a difficult time scaling to bigger team sizes, especially onboarding. And so that's something that we have already addressed in the last couple of years, and we've added features to help you organize your projects better. And what we've realized also is that the producers on the team are really the champions of the process within the team, and they are the people that need to be able to master Codecks. And that means that they need to be able, if their team, we cannot expect to have the knowledge about process and in particular about Codecks to be evenly distributed across the team. So we need to give the producers ways of kind of like managing stuff for their team, give the team the ability to kind of self-auto organize. And a couple of features are, just to clarify what I mean by that. So things that we introduced in the last couple of years were like a producer role, which has like privilege rights. So you don't have to worry about team members that are not as much into Codecks or that are new to Codecks to accidentally like move a deck away to place to a different project where nobody can find it and so on. We introduced limited project visibility, so you can assign people to different teams so that they are not overwhelmed by teams, by projects that they don't need to know, or that is kind of like just adding clutter to the UI for them. We introduced guardians to help you manage reviews. Just recently, or I think in the next update, we are adding the ability to add time for other team members. So before, a team member could only add time for themselves, like in the time tracking functionality. We now allow producers to do it for other people, and
that's part of the last release we made, actually.
Right, and so we're too quick. I cannot keep up with the changes. And that's an example of things where we're looking at Codecks critically and really thinking about how can we make like the champion on the team really help the team organize with Codecks. And then other things like statistics, capacity to spot overworked or like underused team members, deck descriptions, which allow you to put like kind of a manual within a deck where people can see like, oh, okay, this is how I should be using the deck. So what does it mean looking forward? Things that we're looking into is auto-pinned runs. So the pinning functionality for milestones and for runs is something that every team member has to do themselves to get the best use out of it, so that it shows up in the hand tab. So that's an example of something that we're changing. We're making it so that it kind of auto detects what the best run to show in your hand is. Actually, it's every run that you're part of. So it's something that makes it kind of like works better automated. And also we increase the functionality because now you can look at multiple runs in your hand. Another feature is type decks and spaces. We'll get into that. And then things that are a bit more out there that we will probably need a bit longer to get to, but are project templates and API. Even if Codecks lets you down or it doesn't, even with our help, we cannot get like all the functionality that you need, like to automate your process. We are working on an API. There's at the moment a kind of undocumented API, which is a bit tricky to use because you have to like understand the authentication and so on. And we want to make that really simple for you to build stuff. Oh yeah, I also realized you cannot see the bottom right, but I will read stuff if there's anything on there. And then I want to also say, we realize that every team is different. There is no perfect way to use Codecks or to do project management or game dev in general, we think. So we want to keep Codecks flexible for you to play around with it and really adapt it to your use. Having said that, a lot of people are asking us for best practices and how to get started with Codecks, what we recommend, and we want to make those recommendations also easier to discover. So that's also work for us, for example, in these webinars, also in the app and so on, to kind of surface those points a bit better than in the past. Then the second thing, police is coming. They want to... I can't come up with a joke. So, okay, more playfulness for teams. So one example here is like having talked about all the ways in which you can like manage and like control your team better. Want to also make sure and clear that Codecks is the playful solution. It's inspired by game design for game developers. So we will maintain playfulness and we will build on it and steal ideas from games and playfulness because we think that's important. It's not just like, oh, it's more fun, but it's fun. It sounds so elusive, but it's really a difference between a team using Codecks or not using it. And it's a difference between maybe overscoping on a game and having it delayed or releasing on time. Really, this is really fundamental thing for us. And here's like just call out to one example. The beast mode we added recently. It's a way to see kind of where your project is falling behind, where cards are not making progress, and then it increases the beast level. And for us, that's a perfect example for how we approach kind of like serious project management stuff within metaphors which are still approachable and playful and that are interesting for the team. And that's something that we will be continue doing even as we increase the power of a Codex. So some ideas, this is pretty cannot guarantee that these are all coming, but these are concepts that we are looking at. So, for example, one thing is giving kudos to your team members, kind of praising them for things that they did, and then maybe it collects on their hand, and they can see kind of like the recent kudos, and it's motivating, and a sign of a token of appreciation. Which is especially nice for remote teams where you don't maybe have this like in-office interaction. And so this could be one thing that we add. Another thing is card drawing, which is, it's not painting on cards. It's about kind of having a mechanic where when you're unsure what to work on next, maybe we'll pop up a screen where it shows you 3 cards. We'll have like some smart detection of what makes sense according to priority and time and so on. And then you can select the next card. This is kind of inspired by deck building games, as you know, from Slay the Spire and so on. So we're thinking about that. We're also thinking about how we can make, when you've completed a run and you've completed it successfully, how to celebrate that a bit better and make a kind of ritual out of it. That's something. And then other ideas are Easter eggs in the Doom console. Doom console, it's like this console that you can bring up in Doom games or other games, and that allows you to enter commands. So this could be a way for you to automate things or something where like, maybe the UI you feel is too slow or something. Just an idea for the future. And then to wrap it up, want to do more Codecks for everyone. What this means specifically is you might have seen the announcement, but we secured a grant by the EU, by Creative Europe Media, and it's in total of 1 million. And we're a small team, so this allows us to grow our team and should show you we are going nowhere, but into the future, we will be sticking around and building out Codecks, and you can rely on us to be there for you, whatever you're working on. Okay, and that's enough of kind of the keynote. Now let's dig into the interesting stuff. The upcoming features will show you concretely what we're working on and show you like in development features. But first, Daniel, tell us about emojis.
Yes, I will tell you about emojis. Let me quickly share my screen with you. Let's go here. This is actually based on feedback that we've received quite a while ago in June 2020. So it also almost celebrates its anniversary. And it's something that we felt ourselves as well, that it would be nice for conversations to be more lively, to make it easier for people to interact without having to write something. Like a thumbs up, a simple thumbs up sometimes is more than enough to acknowledge a message and then opt out. So we experimented a bit with the various designs. Like the last experiment we did was opting out with a reaction, either thumbs up or happy or nothing at all. But we didn't quite feel this was it. So what we went with instead is something that should feel familiar if you have used something like Discord or Slack or something like that. Basically, below each comment, you'll find a section like that where you can then pick one of the last 3 emojis you've used, or there's also an emoji picker where you can then pick another emoji and then it'll up right below the comment. You can, of course, also click on existing emojis and you'll see who reacted at what point in time. Just to make it ever easier for you to kind of give quick feedback, especially if you then plan on opting out of a conversation, because sometimes it could feel a bit cold opting out without saying something. And now what you can do is basically just give it a thumbs up and then close this review or cancel. Well, in that case, since I'm the owner, there aren't many options. I can't opt out. So in that case, it probably doesn't make sense. But in case you want to opt out, just leaving thumbs up is probably all you need, and without it feeling as cold. Exactly. Yeah. And here's the good news. It will be live on Monday. So yes, yay! If all goes according to plan, but so far it is.
Sweet, yeah, and like Danny said, this comes out of from just observing the use case in our team that we often left like emoji and so on, and then you have to type it. So this makes that a bit easier, and also what it even goes beyond the old functionality, because now you can also leave emojis on threads that you're not even part of. So if you spot like a cool conversation, even though you're not part of, you can just drop a like and let people know.
I just see feedback in the comments that the last emoji I used was not updated. That is right. It only updates once you go to a new conversation, because otherwise you would click it and it would immediately shift to the very left, which was a bit annoying, which is why I decided to remember the current order. And only if you then go to open the comment section next time, only then will the last used emoji show up.
Good eye for detail.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next feature. Type decks and spaces. So this is me. Like I mentioned earlier, we have certain best practices and that we like to share. And one of them is this idea of the hero structure. So the idea that you separate your decks into spaces, a feature that we introduced recently, and from there then into spaces that are for game design docs and spaces that are for tasks. Let me share my screen to show you in action. So, like I said, this is a recent title that we worked on. And if I collapse the spaces here, you can see we have all kinds of different areas. Most important to highlight here are the tasks and the hero cards. And we recently added this option here where you could kind of define what purpose you want the decks to have in this space. Actually, though, this selection was more like informative and to share our best practices, but it didn't do anything. So we changed that. We now allow you to define for a deck kind of what deck it should be. So for example, let me open this deck. So here we are using the hero structure by having in this deck only hero cards, and each hero cards belongs to or corresponds to an asset or like a player-facing object in the game. So in our game that just released yesterday, go to Siemens Wishlist or buy. So we have a portal generator, we have the door transition, we have the battery station, and so on. And as a hero card, I can see on one glance kind of like how far these cards are, how much effort went into it, and so on. But in the past, it was also possible for me, if I would create I need a subcard for this thing, it was very easy to accidentally create it in this deck. And then it was up to the producer ideally up to everybody, but in worst case, up to the producer to kind of do like clean up and go through the decks. And
Riyad, it seems like your microphone cut off.
Oh.
Hello, can you hear me again?
Yes.
Okay. When did I cut off?
Just when I said it.
Okay. It was the task card listening and trying to stop me from telling you how to avoid the task card in a hero deck. So what you can do now is go to the automation option and use this new option here, restrict card types. And I can say within this deck, I only want to have hero cards or hero cards and task cards or dog cards, whatever you want. In this case, I'm restricting this to hero cards because I want to have it really simple, really clean. What this does, for example, is now if I create a card and I say, let's have a giant metal robot. If I create this card, it will automatically show up as a hero card. So this is also a new feature. Something mind-blowing, if you've been using Codecks for a long time, is that you can have hero cards without subcards. It still maintains the knowledge that's a hero card. And that makes it easier for you if this card pops up in a milestone or in a run or something, or on your hand, to immediately know, okay, this is not a regular task card, this is a hero card, and it's missing subcards. It makes it also so that we can have since now we know more about how you want to set up your project, we can offer smarter choices here. We can not show your hero decks in here because we know you don't want task cards and hero decks and so on. And you will recognize the hero decks by this crown icon, which will also show up in different areas, in selectors and so on. So you kind of know the context of the deck that you're looking for. You can also do the same for docs and for tasks. If there's a task deck, it doesn't have a special marker because most decks are probably task decks. If it's a doc deck, it will have a different icon as well. And to tie it back to the start again, when I showed you these spaces which don't have didn't used to have any meaning, now those also come with recommended settings. So when you have a GDD space, we automatically make it so that any deck that you create within there will automatically already have the hero card restriction set up for you. Same for tasks, knowledge, and so on. You can customize this on a per deck level, so you can even within the space, you can mix it how you want. But for example, Gonzalo, your keyboard is really loud. Stop chatting.
I was making notes.
And for example, here in our marketing space, it was a bit too bothersome to split it up into two spaces. So within one space, I'm mixing different topics here. I have a deck for goats, which has in our case, I don't want to spoil too much, but these are all our marketing channels that we're using for the game. And here, if I do my daily meeting or something with the marketing team, I can have a quick glance across all the channels where we are, and then the specific tasks go in here. And using this new functionality, I can kind of make this a bit more self-managing without me having to look at if everybody is using the structure in the right way. This should be pretty useful also for producers managing their team and kind of codifying kind of the best practices for your team. I think that's a roundup of the feature. Did I miss something?
Don't think so. Well done.
Good. And I apologize in advance because every time we stop to sharing the screen and then go back to it, I have to go through all the slides again. So please ignore the
The
carousel.
slides are so good. It's fun to look at them again.
Yes, they're very pretty. Look at the blue. Yes, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm getting like dizzy from like the constant like.
Don't go too fast.
No, too fast. Okay, yeah, I'll try not to. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's me again. Okay, so I shouldn't have stopped sharing.
So I didn't have to do this actually. Okay, well.
Okay, let me jump right back into it. So notifications, one of our favorite topics. It has come up a lot of times. Notifications turns out to be a pretty hard problem and something that we keep revisiting every couple of months to try to get it right. So as you know, we have here on the right side, we have the chat bubbles, which are kind of pop up. And then we have the conversation tab where you can look at all the conversations that you're part of or that your whole team is part of by going to show all. Some things that we've been getting feedback on and that we noticed also ourselves is that these bubbles can get a bit annoying over time. At some point, we introduced kind of like a limit here so that only a limited amount of notifications would show up, but it still felt a bit overwhelming, the amount of incoming notifications. So we thought long about it and about ways to improve that. A couple of months ago, we also introduced a way to kind of easily dismiss them. But what we found is that even at the moment, just the process of opening a notification was a bit like taking time and so on. So we experimented with different ways of, let me see if this works. Yeah, we experiment with different ways of at what point should this dismiss button show up and so on. And as we kind of try to reduce the number of chat bubbles and rely less on those, we relied more on the conversations in a tab. This is the place where we want you to keep track of everything. And so we did some internal changes. We really reduced the number of chat bubbles here internally. And we relied more really on this tab. What we noticed, though, is that it's not that easy. Because when you have a lot of conversations going on here, like 40 maybe, for example, if I would reply to something like Daniel here in this conversation, and I would say, hey, yeah, that looks good. Tell me by end of week if you need help or something. That was nice, but the card would stay in my inbox. It would stay in my conversation tab. So what actually happened is you would go through your cards and you would be like, this one, no, it's not. I cannot reply. This one, it's also not relevant. This one, I'm waiting for this and that, and so on. You could use the preview and so on, but it was still kind of a cumbersome process. So we looked at what are emails doing because or email clients, because they have like a similar problem to solve. And we took inspiration from modern email clients like Gmail or Superhuman, who allow to snooze cards or emails. But we took the idea for cards. So what will happen now is if I reply to something, get back to me tomorrow. You might notice it's gone from here. It's gone from my inbox. And what happened is I applied automatically a reminder. I can also override that manually and say like, oh, remind me tomorrow, remind me in 3 workdays, or whatever it is. But the idea, just like my own comment, the idea is that you can clean this up and kind of get to inbox zero, this magical term, which I like a lot. And so this allows me when I go through my cards, I can clean up here and I can be like, oh, for example, yeah, here I have a Steam issue. I'm waiting for them to get back. There's nothing for me to do at this moment besides waiting for them coming back on my support ticket. So instead of doing that, like checking this card over and over again, I can say, I'll check in 3 days. And then it's gone from my inbox. And if I want to kind of look at every card, I can click here and then I still see the ones that are kind of paused at the moment. And this makes it so I noticed we've been using this internally and playing around with it. And for the first time in a long, literally in years, I managed to get to like a empty conversation tab, because everything I could reply to everything that was actionable to be, and for everything that was not actionable, I could set a reminder that was reasonable. Like if I know somebody is on vacation, I can say like, okay, this can wait for a week. Or if it's something that I want to follow up on more quickly, I can snooze it until tomorrow. Yeah, that's the notifications update. So we're still working on making notifications more useful, more actionable, specifically. And this will probably not be the last change that we did to notifications. It's a complex feature, but I think this will be like a big step to make it more useful to you and to stay, especially like, there are like conversations that are more urgent than others. So really helping you not lose the important conversations in the sea of conversations that you're maybe dealing with. Good.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to using it. Actually, I have been using it, and I'm also I'm quite happy with regularly going to inbox 0. So yeah, I think we're going to test it one more release internally, and then I think if we're happy with that, the release after, you should be able to test it out for yourselves.
Yeah, there are also already some questions about it. So yeah, Julian points out this use case of you waiting for clients and so on for feedback. That's exactly one of the use cases. And we are, of course, it's we already have a automatic reminder feature in Codecks, which is the snoozing feature. So we are looking at merging these, and it should be possible for you if you say, I don't want to see this card for 1 week, to not get the snoozing system should account for that and kind of take that knowledge. Of course, wouldn't make sense if it would annoy you still. And when does it go live? Like Daniel said, hopefully soon. Probably not next week, but soon after. We're just testing it a bit more internally to make sure it's really solid. I think the direction is clear. We're just figuring out final details to make it really good.
All right. I guess I'll take over then. I see people are pumped already.
Yeah.
Are we promising too much? Probably, but it's just a slide, people. What could it possibly mean? But yeah, our most requested feature on our Discord community is actually dark mode. It has like 115 upvotes so far. So yes, we are aware dark mode is something that you want, and dark mode is certainly something that we are thinking of. Gonzalo, I'm sorry, but I'm going to share my screen again. Just to show you one example of, yes, we are technically capable of doing dark mode. You might have noticed that both the manual as well as our landing page do actually support dark mode, like that. Ta-da, it's all dark. And this is like a good prototype or good building block. For the manual, it was fairly simple because there's only really like one context. What's tricky with Codecks though is both its age, as I said, like first prototype started 10 years ago, as well as the complex designs, because there are so many different like shades of gray, purple, green, and so on, each requiring like different dark mode variations. So what we're currently doing, and I'm going to stop sharing this one. So Gonzalo, I need you to open the the presentation. So what we're doing now is to really work with the design system along with our designer Micha, such that every component that we touch comes both in a light as well as a dark version. So what you can see here are some examples from our Figma space for our design system, that like all our buttons, inputs, at the bottom, you can see also like what the property panel, when you open a card and want to change the property, could look like in dark mode. So yes, we are very aware that we want it as well. But at the moment, I'd say that like 60% of the components you see are still not part of the design system, but are older. But as we are touching features, we are using like modern design system components. You might have, for example, noticed that instead of red buttons, most of our action buttons have become purple and have changed their shape a bit. as a signal, this means the new design system has been applied there. And as we go forward, we will have more and more usage of our new design system components. And once a significant chunk, or like for our key screens, like for an open card, for example, or for the deck view, like deck inspector, once most of those components are transferred, I think we are then also ready for enabling the dark mode. But there is no release date yet. But as of now, I'm optimistic that this year, 2025, there will be dark mode available. Maybe not for all screens, but for like the most relevant, I think we should be able to do this. All right, I think now it's up for you, Riyad, to reveal even more concrete, but possibly even more exciting news, which is the vision board.
Yeah, the vision board is a big feature that we are working on. One of the biggest feature that we've ever done, and it will be a important extension to Codecks. So just to give you a bit of background, what we are, the use cases which we think are not super well cared of with Codecks, like things where we feel we can do better. Things that we do well at the moment is like the moment to moment, week to week, month to month planning. When you have a run, for example, or a milestone, you're working towards that run on a daily basis. You are doing reviews, blogs, and so on. We think that part, especially with the recent updates, is already working nicely. Of course, there's still room for improvement, but an area where we're not super strong or where we want to get better is the big picture planning, like having a big picture overview of your whole project. Maybe before the stage where you want to create just concrete tasks and like assign them and so on, or maybe kind of in the late stage of a project where you just want to see like overall which topics are important. I showed you already a bit like of the hero structure and like how we're doing it for marketing, for example, which is already quite useful. But we thought about how could we take that a step further. And one inspiration that we had was like skill trees in video games. So this would be kind of a nice visualization of, I will talk about Gant in a moment. So there will be, to have a nice visualization, if you imagine how would you want to look at your game in an ideal world from a project management perspective, it would probably be a single screen, a one-pager where you could see everything. You could see like each, depending on the game, but each enemy that you have in the game, each level and so on. And then you would see like a progress bar, maybe across all of those widgets. And it could, at one glance for the whole team, maybe you could put up a screen in the office or something. You could at all points see kind of, oh, where are we? Like, where are the areas where we're falling behind and so on. And to build that, we were inspired by skill trees. So that's one visualization type that we want to tackle. Another use case is the timeline. So our timeline is pretty powerful. You can jump between runs and milestones and so on. And then you can dig in and really figure out, okay, for this milestone, what are the features that we want to do? And then you have beast mode and so on to track kind of where you're falling behind. But sometimes you don't want to look at a run and see, like, for example, for my games company, Machine Mensch, there are hundreds of cards in there who are assigned across a lot of different people. It can be a bit overwhelming to look into that. If you're the producer of the team, that's kind of like what you might like to do and kind of like track everybody individually. But if you're like in a leadership role or somebody that's like a stakeholder and you just want to have like a big picture overview, that representation is not ideal. So that's a part I won't be able to show you today, but that's one of the use cases that we have in mind for this vision board that we want to allow a bit more bigger picture planning. So this goes into the direction of Gantt charts. So even though there will not be, we don't know yet, there might be like a more specific Gantt chart implementation within the vision board. But in general, we are thinking about these use cases that we want to support, and like a calendar type view will probably be a important aspect of that. So in total, and we're just showing an early preview of the vision board. It's not at the level where it does everything we want, but just to give you an understanding of what we're trying to do here is we want to build a place where you can build one page overviews, kind of like a dashboard for a project. We want to build a place where you can do big picture planning, like brainstorming when you're not quite ready for like going to task level yet, but you just want to throw up or like break down a couple of core ideas and maybe position them in a timeline and see like, okay, this could go 3 months, this could go 6 months, and so on. And okay, of course, this would not be complete without me showing you a very early preview. This is still lots of stuff to do, but we're happy to show you a early stage version of a partial vision board that we've built. Here's like an example of something that mimics more like a canvas type thing from something like Miro. We know a lot of people of you are using Miro or other similar tools. Our goal is not to replace Miro, but maybe like we don't want to compete with Miro, but maybe for some cases you might just use Codecks instead of something like that for like simple things. And then we want to build additional features that Miro doesn't have. So for example, for the one-pager stuff, for the yeah, exactly, Steve Jobs. One more thing. So okay, what you can see here is I can zoom, scroll, and so on. I can look at these boxes. I have arrows and so on, and I can. This is actual. Don't steal my business ideas here, but this is like an actual board that I created for myself, and where I just collected notes about like thoughts about the current marketscape and kind of what's working and so on. So this allowed me to just throw together a couple of images, collect some notes, some thoughts here. I did some notes about the Double Fine stuff and so on. And this is really nice. And then, so this is just an example of like a brainstorming stage. So for this, I'm not at the level where I want to create specific cards or maybe even write a long document, because I'm still processing ideas. I just want to take notes here and there and then kind of form my thoughts. And then from this, like an actual project or something might emerge, and then I will take it into Codecks and create the decks that are fitting and so on. But this is an example of a board that I can then share with my teammates. I can share with the specific project. I can invite collaborators on here. There will be most likely be like a multiplayer functionality where you can work on the board at the same time. And something that we want to work on next, or which will be interesting, is then the integration with Codecks. So this is like super simple example here. I'm just putting on here like actual Codecks cards, and I can see the current progress. I can see what remains and so on. And this is a simple card visualization. We will allow you to build to merge this seamlessly. So on the top level, you might have like a board where you have initial thoughts and so on, and or you create a one-pager overview, or you're coming close to shipping the game. And then you can just pull in the cards that are most relevant, most important, and you can build your own dashboard, you can build your own timelines, and so on. So the vision board is quite big extension to Codecks, and I think really will work hand in hand with all the other data that you're collecting in Codecks. And one way to look or think about it is, if you think of Codecks as kind of the database of all the tasks and so on, and your doc cards and everything, this will be like the view model of that, like a lens, a way to build different lenses to look at the same data in different ways and build the view that's perfect for you. For example, you have maybe like an investor or somebody, you don't necessarily want to share like the whole decks and tell them like, oh, go to the third deck or something, or give them a link. Maybe that's overwhelming. You can just create a really simple board for them that's still fed from the actual data and the actual database and has like progress bars and everything. So that's the first time we've been sharing this. Feel free to ask questions. I'm excited for you. This has been some time in the making, and we're just getting started on this. Cool. I think that's all the features that we want to show. at the moment. We have lots more things in the oven, as you say. But I would say we can go into the Q&A section. And I think there are a couple of questions or chats that came in.
Yeah, let's just go into the Q&A. Just a quick note, the original time we had was from 4 to 4:45, but we have buffer time. So please go ahead and we can answer the questions as long as you have them.
Okay, meanwhile, I will go through a couple of chats. So yes, somebody said they still need the MS project to work on the site. Yes, I mean, again, we will not be able to compete with every functionality from MS project, for example, but probably, to be honest, you don't need probably every functionality from MS project. So we might do, like, thanks to the better integration and so on, we might just have the right features for you to manage your stuff. Please replace Miro. Yeah, we will try. Yes, and I will share you one more license to buy if you can do that. You want to see more integration with Figma? Yeah, we are also Figma users. We use it for designing things with UX wise. So we are aware of the tool, and some type of integration would be awesome. Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah.
We have a question from Danny too on the Q&A. So have a look if you can hear it.
Yeah. How do you guys use Codecks in the early stage of project? When you start using Codecks for a project? Yeah, that's a good question. So how, like, I personally, I have a deck within Codecks where I just have project drafts and I create a hero card like for a game idea, and then I create subcards as I research the topic and so on. But I understand it doesn't feel like super easy, especially if you're still in this brainstorming stage and so on. So that's exactly where the vision boards will help in the future. So probably as the first step, you would create a vision board for one project idea, collect all kinds of references, collect images that you like, competitor analysis, and so on. And then you build from there your actual Codecks project.
And the nice thing about that is once you start creating cards, like for example, you brainstorm certain sections like your boss monsters, you then can, for example, attach a hero card for each of those boss monsters. And then you can come back every once in a while and see how your progress bar fills up. So you get so that your early brainstorming board can then slowly turn into like a progress chart, kind of giving you an idea of the overall state of your project.
Yes, there's one more chat where somebody said they are working more with a Kanban workflow. So I understand by Kanban they mean kind of the process model, not the view of Kanban necessarily. And in Kanban, the idea is kind of you pick as you go the tasks and so on. So you don't rely as much on the runs where somebody might have put your tasks in there, or you don't rely on milestones. You have a really dynamic process, and that's something. And they say they are having a hard time finding the cards to work on next. So for the current version of Codecks, I would suggest to use the inbox feature. If you set a inbox, new cards will automatically go into the inbox that you chose. For example, our programmers, they have the coding inbox, and UX designers or concept artists, they have the concept artist inbox. And that makes sure that if like random tasks come up, those tasks by default go into the right deck. And then those people go into those decks just to look for the next work. And that's nice about the hero structure. So when you have like the heroes and the subcards, they don't live in the same space as the enemy type or something, but they live in actual department deck of coding and so on. You will find all the coding tasks across whatever it is. Even if you're working on the credit screen or something, you can find all the coding cards in there. But having said that, yeah, we also feel that can be a bit difficult to find the cards that belong to you. So we have a couple of features coming up for that. One is if you press Q on the keyboard, it will only highlight your own cards. But we know that's a bit hidden. So we are just working on a feature to make that more visible. And we're also looking at a feature that allows you to filter out all the decks which are not relevant to you. So we want to make it really, this goes back to what I about the vision for 25, making it easier for producers to set up codecs in the easiest way for their team. And what you describe is exactly one of the things that we're looking at. So hopefully, I think within the next couple of weeks, we'll have like more features in that direction, which will help exactly finding the cards that are relevant for you really quickly. And another quick tip. On the hand screen, on the left side, there are a couple of buttons, and the bottom one, when you click that one, it will also help you find all the cards that are assigned to you at the moment. So that's another way of picking the next card and putting it in the hand, for example. But again, that button can be a bit hard to discover, and we are working on like streamlining this whole thing. In the ideal world, that's our ambition, is that Codecks is so simple that you can onboard a lot of people and kind of like they will be seeing automatically the right things. They will know where their cards are, and it will be really streamlined. And we will use playful methods to help us on that goal. And when we will keep working on that until we have achieved it, because that's a huge goal and really important for us.
So you mean Codecks will no longer be an open world game?
It will be an MMO,
All right.
pretty much.
See, and also like feel free to ask questions about anything. It doesn't have necessarily to be like about the topic of the webinar. It can be pretty much about anything regarding Codecks. I was trying to think of one, but I can't think of any now.
Here somebody says they're using the play for production process to guide their project. And using the vision board would be really amazing. Yeah, I haven't read that book. It's on my Kindle. I already bought it. I haven't gotten to read it, but it obviously caught my attention because of the use of playful, and which feels like somebody wrote a book about Codecks. So I will definitely check it out and can let you know then. But sounds good. There's one more question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about this pricing strategy for small games. Yeah, so the question is about pricing. That's pricing is obviously always difficult. We are a bootstrapped company, so we don't have investors or like Silicon Valley money or something to give away kind of the product completely for free as some competitors. But we are trying hard to make it easy for small teams to find an entry into Codecks. That's why we have the free plan, which we initially was just 3 users. I think we increased it. We are looking at making the table mode, adding that to the free tier instead of the pro tier. And so over time, we hope to add more things to the free tier. And we also have different pricing levels. So there's like not just the pro mode, but also the plus mode. So that could be an option, which is just at €5 or even cheaper if you top up your account. So with topping up, the pro tier is not €9, but more there's like a calculator at the bottom. So the price goes down to less than €7 if you top up the maximum amount. But obviously, yes, that's we are always looking at the pricing and trying to understand how we can make it cheaper while still surviving as a company. And then there was one more. You mentioned work management.
Yeah, this one is again about notifications, and we actually have a design prepared for that as well, where we want to do both. Like we want to like have a matrix of what type of notifications there exist and what type of channels you want to get a notification for. Like the existing channels right now are like within the app and via email, and there's also Discord at the moment, but then we're also planning on expanding that to browser notifications, for example. And the idea is that you'll basically be able to set checkboxes for what type of notifications you want to get via which channel, which would also obviously allow you to disable certain types of notifications for more flexibility here.
Yeah, and on top of that, for Discord notifications, which are kind of global at the moment, we want to make so that they are custom per user. So if you get a notification for a comment, we don't want to spam that in the main channel or like a notification channel. We want to direct it directly to you. So you really have more of this like real-time interaction with Codecks. So that's another thing along with generally reworking the whole notification area, as Daniel said. Oh, thank you. That's praise for Codecks being, without a doubt, the best tool they've used for small to medium game project management. Thank you so much. That's really nice to hear.
That's nice. Thank you.
Regarding referral program, yeah, we have a recommendation system, which you can find in the settings. Where is it? It's under refer a friend in the organization settings, and that will create a code which you can forward to people, and that will give them a discount, a 10% discount for the first year on Codecks. And so far, unfortunately, we haven't built in that it also gives you a reward, so that there's like a kickback, but probably something that we should add. But we added this kind of as a quick way for you to be able to give some benefit to your friends that you think should also be using Codecks. And I appreciate very much also that everybody that recommends the tool, and we don't have a huge marketing budget, so this helps us a lot. The recommendations by friends and colleagues is the most important thing, biggest thing you can do for us.
We have two more questions, two on the Q&A.
Having milestones without end dates. Yes, this came up before also on our Discord. We haven't found a good way of understanding the use case enough and like the intricacies about this to offer a solution yet. And hopefully then the vision board will come also on top of that and help maybe take some of that functionality. But we don't have any plans regarding that direction. But generally, I mean, we are listening, we're reading every feedback, and we are constantly talking about it and trying to understand how you are using Codecks and how the features could fit. So this is like something it's not off the table, but it's something that we're looking at, but we don't have concrete announcement at this point.
And then I see one more question by Levi asking about an improved GitHub integration. So at the moment, you can only interact with Codecks on a commit level, but I'm aware that other tools also work on it using like the branch model, that you can name a branch after a card, and according to like the branch state then dictates what the card state is. That is something, yeah, I'm not too happy with our GitHub integration at the moment either. But then, yeah, it's a matter of prioritization. At the moment, I am the only one working on Codecks, and as you've seen, there are tons of plans. So yeah, it's up for the team to come up with a good prioritization of these type of features. Maybe like one option could, of course, also be making the API powerful enough for like a third-party support that, yeah, you or someone else could potentially create like a Codecks plugin that does exactly that, what you want. That could also be one way forward to kind of also alleviate our constrained development resources by being able to have an interface that is easy enough to use to allow for any kind of use cases, especially when it comes to integrating with third-party tools.
Okay, I think we need to, I mean, could go on long time, but
Yeah,
should probably wrap it up. So
yeah, I would say like if everyone has like any final question, like let's count, like it's like last chance to ask it now. I'm gonna count till, no, this usually works. I'm gonna count till like 5, and if anyone doesn't ask any questions in the next 5 seconds, we're gonna wrap it up. So 1, 2.
Oh, the suspense.
3. I know, it's nice, no? 4. It's like a Hitchcock movie. 4.
Ooh, there's been one more question.
I can. Okay, the next webinar when? Yeah, well, sooner than later, I would say, because yeah, we've been talking about it, and we do want to do different webinars about different topics. So I would say the next one will be sooner than later, and we do want to make it kind of like a regular occurrence. Let's say I don't want to commit exactly to like the next one is like in this number of weeks, but sooner than later, yeah.
Yeah, it will not be a year. It will, yeah, every couple of weeks.
No, okay, yeah, maybe we'll, yeah.
Couple being 2 or being 2?
No, like between 4 and 10 or something.
Okay.
Anyway, TBD, but yeah, but we'll want to do them like fairly regularly. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. This was fun, and yeah, if you have feedback, or if you have, you can always join our Discord or reach us via email. And if you have requests for upcoming webinar topics, we have some ideas already. But if you have like suggestions, just let us know, and then we can try to accommodate that.
Yeah. Just to a quick note, like, yes, thank you so much to everyone for joining. If you have like any feedback, send it over our way. We have now forms on our website that you can use to contact us, along with Discord as well. We're also going to be sponsoring the next Talk and Play. So if you're in Berlin, come to the next Talk and Play. We'll be there. All 3 of us ready for like any questions that you may have as well. On the April 9th, exactly. And we'll be doing a lot more of that in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.